Alright guys, back here with another video, and this time we're at Hero Side Out again, and we just finished the case. Top 4 split. I got third after Swiss, and I played Tearlament Pure, and I just picked this deck up and put it together last night, and it's pretty complicated, so I'm going to go into detail with some of the effects and stuff like that, but we'll go ahead and get into it right now. And shout out to Different Gaming. If you haven't checked out Shopify for our playmats, please do. Link in the description. We also do field centers and t-shirts and hoodies. So we got Meryl. It's a normal special, and she mills 3 on summon, and they all have the effect except for Rhinoheart 2. When they get sent to the graveyard by card effect, they get to fuse by using the card that got sent and any other card in your grave, field, or hand. So these cards are just crazy. This one is really crazy too. On your opponent's turn 0, you can activate this effect when they activate a monster effect. Special it, mill 3, and then potentially fuse, which is really crazy. Rhinoheart, this is the one that you normal or special, and it gets to send any of these Tearlament cards to the graveyard from deck. Then you get to bring him back by pitching a Tearlament card if he gets sent to the graveyard by card effect. So he's an extender. Then you got 3 of my favorite one, Sharon. She has the same effect for fusion from grave, just like these. And when she gets sent by card effect, she has an effect for each extender. You can special summon her from your hand by discarding a monster, and it's not cost. So if they ash her or whatever, you get to put her back in your hand and keep the card in your hand. But she mills 3 as well. So mill 3, mill 3, mill 3, send 1 directly. So that's it for the actual monsters for the main deck. There's you play 3 of all the ones that exist right now. Then for the traps, you're playing 1 Tearlament Meta Noise, which is a Book of Moon, and then send from the deck. Foolish Barrel. It's like Sinister Shadow games on crack. And when you send this to graveyard, you get to, by card effect, you get to add back one of your Tearlaments from grave. The Solic, this is a effect veiler, and then it sends 1 from field to the graveyard at resolution, and then basically get the fuse again, because usually you have 1 left over, and it negates the monster effect. Then you got 2 King of the Swamps. This card is basically an honorary aqua for this deck, because the requirements for the fusions require aquas, and yeah, he get to pitch this and add poly, and it can be substituted for different fusion materials. 1 Squamata, 1 Beast. This ratio is fine the whole day. Just making window is crazy. Drawing a card is crazy. Because if you send this off of your Sharon, you get to draw a card, which is just insane. And then during later on the turn, or your opponent's turn, you get the fuse, Time Thief Redoer. So that we actually playing some hand traps. I got talked into it last second, but in reality, Ash Blossom was the only one really came up. I didn't draw Ogre the entire time, but it's there. You got, this is for Brave and Splight. This is going to be kind of a roguish local, but so I wanted to have the out. But it is the first weekend these cards just came out, so this will probably become more important if I actually draw it. It's a meta. And Ash is just Ash, generic. I'm just telling you. To the field spells, this card adds the Tearlament card to Beast of Starfrost and gives your fusions a 500 boost that you control. And whenever you shuffle the 1 card in, you get to pop a card in the field, which is crazy. And then you got the 4 field spell because Terraform is strong. You want to draw this card, especially because it's an extra interaction on your opponent's turn. 3 Triple T, 3 Dark Ruler No More. You want the good going second cards, and this card's also just good going first. I actually probably would have lost my first round if I did not draw this card, because the draw 2 helped me actually keep playing, because I kept drawing like a bunch of staples with no like actual going like play cards. So drawing 2 was really strong, and Dark Ruler No More is just crazy in this format. So. You got 2 Pot of Desires. This card was really strong every time I activated it. You would think that you don't want to banish and keep milling, but when you fuse, you put the materials on the bottom of the deck, so your deck just refills. And if you put them on the bottom of the deck, it actually dodges you drawing them and banishing them. When it's fusion, this summons your best card as well as a few other cards. But this card just summons this card insane. We'll get into it later though about how good that card is. You got 1 Foolish Barrel. They're all graveyard effects. It's also can send Token Collector in the side, which happened, and they actually won me the game earlier against the deck. Good. I won against Brave PK with this. And basically, he had Right and like Enchantress in hand, and a bunch of stuff he couldn't activate because, you know, no token. 1 Roto to add your Rhinoheart, and 1 Call by the Grave because it's the God card, and 1 Poly to add off of your King of the Swamps. This card is okay. but it's there necessary to get your key to swap out of your hand and add to the extra deck. Extra deck could be swapped up a little bit, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. You got 2 of Kikalos, 1 Collider Heart. This card gets to send or add when it's summoned, and then you get to pop itself or any other Tearlament card on board, and special 1 from hand or grave. It's a crazy card. And when it's sent by card effect, which at first I wasn't even playing around when I was playing, you can send itself with the second effect and get free mill 8, so really strong. And that helps you just get all your effects going. Collider Heart, this is a send back to the extra deck, so it helps you get rid of Mirror Jade and a few other cards that you don't want actually hitting the grave. And this works on your opponent's turn and on your turn. Whenever your cards get shuffled in, it triggers, and you get to bounce something back to the deck. 2 Dracosphelia. The second one does come up, but a lot of times you do get away with 1. But this card's really crazy against play because it changes the monster to level 1. Also good against PK.
Alright, around with Mason. Alright, let's go.
1 Winda. 1 Millennium Master Strict. This card you can summon off King of the Swamp, which is crazy. You can instant fusion for this. And then you got Winda, which is just the blowout. If you haven't seen the Winda playmat, check it out in the description. It's insane with the construct. You got 1 Elder Entity. This is for an Ultimate Slayer, but we'll get into that in a second. 1 Garua. This is a Super Poly target that I don't even play Super Poly for, but if you send this off of Ultimate Slayer and draw a card, it's nice, because sometimes they don't have a second card for you to bounce, like I destroy with the Entity, so you just send this and draw a card. 1 Guardian Chimera for the Poly. This card came up once. To the XYZs. Got 2 of the best ones. I didn't make this all day because I didn't play a mirror, but this card's crazy, and just good against a few other decks like PK, and there's a lot of decks that this card just folds to. If you're playing Tinny and you break their board, you made this as well, but usually you just end up making Winda with this on your opponent's turn because this card does not detach as a cost, so you'll send the one that the Sharon and get the Fuse and Grave, and sometimes you get to draw a card or bounce something. But 1 Diark, this is the only one I'm playing for a generic link, and then 1 Trouble Sunny. This is for Ultimate Slayer. You send this off, get rid of their elf, and then you get to send the other card to the graveyard with, or one of their other cards with the non-targeted send for this effect. Then 1 Agnister, 1 Pegasus. This is a secret target for your Ultimate Slayer. 3 Lightning Storm, back row hate, and it's also good against the birds, and I knew people were going to be playing birds still. We got 2 Cosmic Cyclone and 1 Galaxy Cyclone. This card can be milled, and I did mill it. The effect didn't come up because I didn't actually run into Floodgates, but this is there, because you can mill like 8 cards and have this in your graveyard for Mystic Mine. So Mystic Mine is something that people side against this deck because most of them don't mean back row hate, but this is your saving grace. 3 Ultimate Slayer. Card is crazy, and this you side this in against decks when you want to actually send the Trouble Sunny, which is only really Sprite, and maybe a few other decks. I tried this against Phantom Knight as well because you want to get rid of the Rusty and get rid of the Fog Blade at the same time, so you can do that as well against that deck because you have to send this off of the Trouble Sunny to actually get the Trouble Sunny effect. So I drew this, actually killed me. Then we got 3 Crow for the mirror and a bunch of other decks that this card just hates on. And basically these come out, the Ogres come out, and you swap these for the Crows a lot of times, depending on the matchup. So you could just main 3 Crow and side 3 Ogre if you felt that was better for their meta. And then 2 Token Glitter. You're playing a mill deck, and Sword Cell players are still hard-headed, so they're not going to play any of the new decks. And then this is also just good against Brave. And Brave is still around. Shout outs to Hunter, right behind me, or right behind you, that is. He ended up helping me test play this deck and actually get some reps in before the tournament today, and I would have not known what I was doing. Shout out to Caesar. He helped me get the entire core and the Ultimate Slayers. Appreciate him for having all those boxes he opened, and the team obviously. Shout out to Airfreight Gaming. We got a big team, big family. So make sure to check out our merch, and we're also going to be coming out with all types of new field center designs and play mats. And if you play DBS and you're just watching this for funsies, we have DBS shirts and everything, and T-shirts for Yu-Gi-Oh as well. If you haven't seen our Toad shirts and all that other stuff, feel free to check that out. The links in the description and the Shopify. Deuces.